demonstration of the Battle Brothers calculator. So if I expand the navigation pane, you can see these are all the objects that make up the system. I'm creating a copy of this roll stat weight table because I'm going to demonstrate rolls first. And I want to give us a clean slate to demonstrate with. So as you can see, I have a lot of my own rolls. You're welcome to use them or create your own. But for now, I'm deleting them all from this table. And we're going to open this add edit roll form, add a new roll, and we are going to create a bowman or archer roll. So when you create a new roll, you need to set an initial stat to kind of get things going. We'll do range attack for the bowman. For the stat weight value, I'm going to put 8. I've been using a 12-point system, so that's 8 out of 12. You can use whatever point system you'd like. For a minimum level 11 value, I'm going to use 90 for a bowman. You can maybe even do a little higher, but how this works in the system is that if the background or brother is projected to come up short of this, it penalizes them as far as their score is concerned. So I'm going to create this roll. And we have our bowman roll here, and now this is where we could edit or add. In this case is what I'm doing, some more stats. So for a bowman, I'm going to do fatigue as well. And a lot of people like to take anticipation, so I'm going to do that for this particular one. And a very important thing to note here, 12 is the total. Like I said, I'm using a 12-point system, so if you're using a 12-point system, I think you should probably have all of your rolls add up to 12. Otherwise, it doesn't make a lot of sense. And now we're going to actually demonstrate this evaluate backgrounds by roll form. This is good if you need to fill a particular roll and want to see which backgrounds might be good. Now, just to warn you, this can take quite a while, so I'm going to hit this button and we are going to actually fast forward the video until this is done. So we are done. And as you can see here, the hunter is the best background to fill a bowman roll. What this does also show is that if they have enough stars, some of these other backgrounds could also potentially fill this role as well. There's two other forms I'm going to demonstrate. The first is the is he good form. This form I like to typically use if I first get a guy and I want to see which roles they might be suited for. So let's pretend we got a new poacher who's borderline as a bowman. We want to kind of see how he scores. So we'll make up some stats here. And he has kind of borderline ranged attack, but we're going to actually give him 3 stars for this demonstration. Kind of make up the other stars. And then we will roll him to level 11. As you can see, his range attack average here would be 93. So he gets a good score as a bowman. Our minimum we set was 90. If it's 95, he actually would come up 3 short on his average, and he actually gets penalized pretty quickly. I can demonstrate that here by just changing this value. And then we can re-roll him. As you can see, his score dropped a pretty decent amount because on the average he's coming up 2 points short of our minimum now. So normally you'd have a lot more rolls than this, and I'm going to kind of demonstrate that here by putting my old table back into place. And then we'll roll him again. And as you can see, I actually have this set to 95 in mine, so he scores about the same. And for a crossbowman, I have it set lower, and for a thrower, so he scores a little better for those rolls in this example. You can also simulate the gifted roll, which will obviously raise his stats and raise their score as well. This is kind of another way to look at gifted, is that if you have a borderline guy, sometimes I will take gifted to try to get their stats where I would like them at level 11. Whereas I might not take that if their initial stats and their stars are good enough where I think they will get there without gifted. The last one is the tryout form. If you have the tryout mod, you can use this to kind of get an idea of what their level 11 stats will be based on their stars. So we'll do a farmhand as an example. You can do either max stat rolls or average. We'll do average for this one. And we'll kind of pretend we want to evaluate him as maybe a two-handed melee class or a tank. So we'll kind of give him stars that would suit those. And then we'll calculate. And this will show you his minimum at 11, average at 11, max at 11. So for melee attack, that's obviously kind of the important one, and melee defense. If we want to do him kind of a frontline roll, and as you can see, with average rolls, he scores pretty well as a frontline guy. With max rolls, he scores better, and then with this one as well, or that's max rolls. Obviously, if he got max initial stat rolls, he looks a little bit better for everything. I typically do average because not many of them are going to get max. And you can also simulate gifted here as well and see how that kind of affects their end level 11 stats. I shouldn't say end, but their level 11 stats and their suitability scores. And that is the Battle Brothers calculator. I hope you enjoy it.